Welcome to the culture of New York basketball. The metro area is the mecca of basketball in the minds of many. Its iconic brand of street ball is renowned around the world. There's a long list of legends who've come out of these parts, but there's also an even longer list of should'ves that never got their shot. Dribble and Dimes is the happy place for the hoops junkie. This is where the legendary tales and the unknown stories will reside. We'll be speaking with a variety of guests from all over, whose ties to the New York game gives them a unique perspective to share. I'm Manny Digital, and along with my co-host Emilio the Poet, we're going to take you off the bench and into the culture of New York area hoops. So lace up and listen to Dribble and Dimes.
You gotta handle the rock with flair and rhythm if you want to be judged on wood grain and concrete courts in New York. This ain't no nickel and dime. It's Dribble and Dimes, where scoring never looked this good, I guarantee it. But was your reputation built from the playground up? Or did you call next and they took that ish? Or cause you weren't as fast as police and ambulance sirens? Or as loud as Mr. Softy Ice Cream? No. You see, this is New York City hoops in prime time. As beautiful as the skyline, it's Dribble and Dimes.
Last season, they took home the New York Catholic High School Athletic Association Boys Championship against Christ the King High School. They went on to Glen Falls, New York, to win the New York State Federation chip by knocking off South Shore High School of Brooklyn. They've graduated numerous athletes that have gone on to play collegiately and professionally, like Illini guard Alan Griffin and former NBA big man Marty Conlon. Since his appointment as head coach in 2015, Patrick Massaroni and his staff have taken Stepinac basketball to new heights, every year doing the unexpected. Along with exemplary student athletes like R.J. Davis, who's amassed 1,200 plus points in 2 seasons and collected 14 D1 offers to date, all while maintaining a 3.8 GPA, this coaching staff at Stepinac is preparing for another opportunity at New York basketball supremacy. But first, we sit down with Coach Massaroni and point guard R.J. Davis to talk about this thing of ours on this episode of Dribble and Dimes. I am Manny Digital.
My name is Emilio the Poet.
And today we find ourselves at Stepinac High School in White Plains, New York, home of the Crusaders.
Yes.
And we are here with Coach Massaroni. And I would argue probably one of the better standout athletes I've seen in quite a while. Just well-rounded individual, Mr. R.J. Davis.
Yes.
Thank you for taking the time. I know you're supposed to be in class right now, getting it in.
Thanks for having
I appreciate it. Thank you to whoever, all the guys that allowed this to happen.
Yes, thank you so much.
So it's a real pleasure, and thank you, Coach, for helping us set this up and welcoming us into the Stepinac home here.
Without a doubt.
I was astonished by RJ, a lot of the statistics I heard about you, not so much just from the athletic standpoint, which that's what we're going to focus on here.
For sure.
But more so from the academic side of things. So it's very difficult, as I'm sure you know, experiencing this, to balance very good grades at a very well-established school. So that's another piece of this, right? You're not just going to some rinky-dink institution. You're going to a place where academics are valued very highly. And so, off air, my brother was talking about what was it that prompted you to be this, 3.8 GPA, I think is what you're carrying now, right?
Yes.
And you're a junior?
Yes.
How did that become just part of your life?
Just at a young age, my parents, mostly my mom, would just, input to me how, important grades are, and, it could take you a long way because the ball will stop bouncing one day. And so she would help me with homeworks, teach me different ways to study, just to be an individual person, because once high school comes to college, you're on your own. So, I would, work hard in the classroom. If I slacked off classes, she would take me aside from practices and games until I get my grades right.
And that hurt?
A little bit, yeah. I used to cry a lot.
Wow.
Good. That's a great mom.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So when you say that you studied, you found different ways to study, and you really pressed you on your academics. What was it? Where did you find like the most challenge? A, right, and then B, how did you get it to a place where you found like this routine that allowed you to strive and succeed?
I would say the most challenging part was just to be able to figure out problems and write on your own. Writing was a struggle for me, but I developed and became more noticeable of how a correct and mature writer is.
Okay.
Down the road, I would say success came along with time. Realizing that time management is important. As basketball comes up around the season, you have to learn how to take care of basketball and then get home, do your homework, study for the next exam. So yeah,
that's awesome. It must be a real treat, Coach. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you.
You guys are champions. Okay.
Thank you.
I'm going to say something. I'm coming from another very biased place when I say what I'm about to say. We come from St. Raymond High School, right? And all the time when I was a child, we were younger. I won't say a child, but younger. We never knew Stepinac to be a powerhouse.
In basketball.
Okay.
Football, you guys had a name.
Yeah. And so for me, like the fact that we even stumbled upon you being champions, because, to be honest, I didn't follow high school basketball as I should have, but we are now.
Yeah.
And do you feel any added either motivation or any added pressure that the fact that you come and took this basketball team or this school to such high prominence as far as where it came from, or do you agree or disagree, or do you think it doesn't really
I mean, I think if you walk down in our gym and the history here, there is a rich history. There are some guys that were drafted and or had careers in the NBA or overseas. We have had a lot of Division I basketball players that have come out of here that have been successful on and off the court in life. So I think the team success wasn't there as much in the last 15, 20 years.
Right.
In the AA,
yes.
Gentlemen, not the gentleman before me, but two coaches before me, they won the A division back in 2010.
Okay.
So it obviously is a different level of play, but still winning any championship is a great feat. So, obviously to get to the AA like we did, and the last time to win it was back in 1960. So it was a pretty remarkable achievement. But it's more than me. I know my name is on it, but it's the staff. It's the administration, and then it comes down to the players. And they bought into the system that we had in mind. We really bought into this we over me philosophy last year, and I think that's why we had so much success, and we've had success in the last 2 years, and hopefully it continues this year.
That's awesome.
So you mentioned the different brackets, AA, A. Again, like my brother mentioned earlier, we're not all that familiar with the whole way that high school basketball is organized. What can you define for us what that means?
Yeah, so basically the AA in New York State is the best of the best. That's the top division. That's the best teams. And most states have AA or whatever the top is. In Jersey, they call it 5A, 4A. So the top league is what we compete in, both in the state, both locally, and then in the last 3 years we played a national schedule. Which I think has prepared us. So in the New York State, it goes AA, A, and B. And again, I'm not taking against anywhere else. And that's for the Catholic League. In the public league, they also have C and D. So there's AA, A, B, C, D that's available, for kids to compete in. We play in the top AA. I would argue, some argue the Catholic High School League is the top 10 league in the country, and I'll argue that. I think the CHSAA is the best in the state. So there's 4 divisions. There's the CHSAA, there's the Public School Athletic League, there's the New York State Public High School Athletic Association, and then there's also the Independents. So there's 4 different divisions that we have in the state that all compete for the Federation Championship. Right. So that's kind of the background on the 4 leagues, and again, I feel like we're the best league in the state and arguably in the country.
Wow.
Well, if there was any doubt that you should retain your job here, I think you've proved very
Yeah,
well
seriously.
that you know what you're talking about.
For president, baby.
I mean, not only was that well done, but I actually understood it. It was
Right.
okay. So you
Right.
dumbed it down enough
Appreciate
for me.
it.
You are a teacher. You are a teacher.
Appreciate it.
So RJ, I guess we like to go through the genesis of who the people that we interview are, right? So you kind of talked about the educational aspect and how your mother's influence helped you be who you are on the academic tip. Who, in a nutshell, and I know you're a 17-year-old guy, right?
Yes.
So not a lot of years under your belt yet as far as life goes, but who would you say RJ is? Like, where did he come from? How did he develop into the man in front of us today?
I would say RJ is a hardworking, dedicated, passionate young man who, comes from, a well family who really cares for them, for him.
Yeah.
They really, influenced me in ways of, just teaching me about life. And, they always tell me, carry yourself with a great personality and a great attitude, because people may perceive me as a basketball player who doesn't really do well in the classroom.
Stereotypes associated with
the stereotypes
basketball.
that usually go around.
Yeah.
But when you really know me, take a deeper look inside, I'm a caring person. I'm genuine. I work hard in the classroom, on and off the court. So that goes a long way in life.
But you're a savage on the basketball court.
Definitely.
So you're like Mr. what is it? Hyde and Jekyll?
Yeah, Mr. Jekyll.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Jekyll and Hyde.
Yeah.
One of those.
That's dope. So you have siblings?
Yes.
Just one?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us about your brother.
Well,
Because you mentioned something earlier, and I think it's
Said Saquon
we
Barkley.
gotta drop that gem in here, because if we start seeing things happen,
Yeah, we're gonna see it. I already know. They're well-to-do. Look at these, well-spoken. If it's not basketball, it's president for you. One or the other.
Well, my little brother, his name is Bryce. He's 13. He plays football. He's a running back. His main sport is football. He plays basketball for fun. Try to get him to more sports because, just when I was young, I played soccer, basketball, football, lacrosse. So I'm just trying to get him more involved in other sports. But he's a talented, strong kid who's very smart. He doesn't see it yet, but, he will shine into his light. He's an 8th grader. He'll be coming to STEP next year. Hopefully, just guide him in the right hands. He has a great future ahead of him.
That's I want to interview your parents, man. 'Cause if you speaking like this, man, these people.
Yeah, shout out to Mrs. Davis. Miss Davis?
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
The Davis folks?
Yes.
And Mr. Davis.
Mr. Davis, of
the
course.
Rob, yeah.
Yes. Oh my goodness. You raised the great ones, but we have one in front of us right now. So
Thank you.
I'm really impressed. Like I said, we mentioned off air. I was speaking to the coach about age being a number, and I totally agree. But because I'm used to seeing a lot of elderly gentlemen coaching, especially high school basketball, I had to kind of
Give you your props.
Speak on what the elephant in the room is. You were the youngest coach I know until further notice, and you probably know this by detail because your facts are like on point. This man is like a history buff. Do you feel like at a place when it comes to just the coaching scene, as far as what you see? Like, is it abnormal for you to see, okay, you're a younger coach, comparatively speaking, to the rest of...
Yeah, I think it's, like I said, off air, but again, I use the term a lot. I think age is a number. In life, whether you're mature, immature, whatever it is, you live life to the fullest, no matter what age you are. So, and I think I see it as you get older and other individuals around you are older. You just want to enjoy life. So, from a coaching standpoint, yeah, I am the youngest. We're not going to sugarcoat around it. It is what it is. But again, I think I've been able to learn a lot from a lot of individuals in Stepinac, outside of Stepinac, in the college and professional ranks that gave me some knowledge to try to run with this opportunity. Now 4 years ago, when the job was open, and was fortunate enough to get it. And again, Rodney Swain, who is one of my assistants, who's been with me all 4 years, and the staff has been great. But in high school basketball, some guys move on to. We had 3 guys in our program get college jobs this last offseason. Wow. So, guys move on for success. And Rodney's been with me the entire time. And, he's been very helpful into what I've done and what we've done. And he is an older gentleman. So I think guys in the league, when I first got in, saw a young guy. And there was some guys in the league, like Joe Arbitello at Christ the King, who kind of told me early on, he was like, don't let these older veterans take advantage of you on multiple levels, from scheduling time of games, showing up to games early, saying we're starting early on the road. And, some guys who've been in the league a long time tried to do that to us. And I think standing the ground, tried to earn some respect from other people in the league. Tim Philp, who I talked about earlier, won in 2010, was here for 11 years. Now coaches down at Hayes. Same way, just gave me some advice on how to handle older guys that coach in our league that were successful, that been around for 25, 30, 40 years. So I just think one thing that I've learned from 4 years ago to now is to try to listen more. I think that's big than always responding, and that's something that I learned and tried to grow up. And I just think, I thought when I was able to get the job, 4 years ago, that I thought we could have success here. I thought we had to surround myself with good people. I thought the school was behind my mission and culture of what we wanted to do. And next thing you know, 3 years later, we win it all, and being ranked top 20 in the country. Did I think it could happen that fast? I'd be lying to you if I said yes.
Right.
But I thought within a 5 to 7 year period, we could get it to where we had to get it to. And it happened in 3 years, but a lot of hard work, not just by myself, by, like I said, the people around me, the administration, the parents, the players, and guys just willing to buy into what we thought was the right thing to do, both on and off the court. I think Stepinac basketball, we've won games, and that's great, and we've been able to get press in a positive way, but these guys becoming young men is a big thing for us. And before all the athletic stuff, being good students is a big thing. And obviously R.J. is with us today, who has done that, but we have multiple guys on our team that really succeed in the classroom, in community service, and doing more than just throwing it up on a Friday night versus St. Raymond or Christ the King.
Yes.
By the way, we will be attending
some
of the games. So you'll see us.
Get to know these people.
You'll see us with some big credentials.
There you go.
So RJ, now I want to talk a little bit let's talk about your basketball swag, right? So you're a healthy scorer, I guess I would say. Now, there's some. I do want to get into what that means to me, and I would love to hear your opinion on it, because I look at the world of basketball as, if you score a great deal, I don't necessarily believe that you're helping your team. Now, I don't know the rest of your stats, so I want to hear your vantage point on this. But still impressive nonetheless. I think I did some fuzzy math, and I think your guys' record last year was 27-5, right?
Yes.
Is that so? That's about 32 total games in a season.
Correct.
Soup to nuts. So in 2 years, you've scored over 1,000 points. And that, with my fuzzy math, I wasn't a math major, that's something around 16 points a game that you were throwing up in 2 years. It's a lot of points. What does that rank as far as other players have come through here? We're talking about a 2-year window here.
Yeah. So to me get more into, I believe, defending his stance on your statement about scoring,
please.
on how it helps the team.
But
I'll let
you
him
would know better.
I'll let him do that, and then I'll add in. But he's up there in the top 10 scoring of all time.
Yeah.
Wow.
He is about 240 or 260 points away from breaking the all-time scoring record, which is around.
That's going down this year.
Yeah. Hopefully. So around 1,400 points is the all-time scoring record here. So he's got a chance to break that this year. But I bet you he would say it, and just like he did last year, I think he'll take championships and wins over those points every year, and that's a lot of our guys that have been here and been successful in the short time that the staff's been together. It's being able to do more than that, and I think that Federation Championship and our banner up in that gym at our first game when it goes up December 7th, officially means a lot more. But from an individual standpoint, he's got a chance to break the Stepinac all-time scoring record, and not by a couple points. I think he could blow it out of proportion.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So tell me, what do you think about my bold statement?
Well, I would say a healthy score would just be having the ability to score out at will, but also I wouldn't say it's just about scoring. It's about doing the little things that no one notices. Being a vocal leader, diving on loose balls. Guiding your teammates into what a championship team looks like, and that's what I'm willing to do this year. Obviously, accomplishing 1,000 points was a goal for me sophomore year. Freshman year, I wasn't even worried about that. I was just worried about making a statement, standing my ground. But just to become one of the top 10 Stepinac leading scorer means a lot. I'm very grateful to be in this position.
Yeah, I'm a bit of a hater because I can't.
I
can't do anything close to that.
Just so you know, I averaged about 7 assists a game too.
Oh, really?
Year, so yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh, so I take everything I said back.
Yo, that's
the definition of making your team.
That's
better.
incredible, man. That's incredible. Coach, I wanted to ask you: did you, prior to this job, prior to coming to Stepinac, I know you were affiliated with the school before. Did you have your eyes on the head coaching position here, or was it just something that kind of just fell into your lap and you kind of just made sense?
Yeah, so when I left here, I was a student manager. I wasn't fortunate enough to be as good as the guys on our team now in college. After that, I got into college coaching as a grad assistant, and I thought the college route was where I wanted to go. But anything in life, things change. I was down in Virginia, so down south. I moved back up. I'd gotten a part-time job with the Nets when they first moved to Brooklyn.
Interesting.
So doing that, and then about 5-6 years ago, we created a varsity B team here. So I know there's about 80 other teams in the Catholic High School League that have that. So we joined in on that league, and I was fortunate enough to be our first head coach of that for 2 years. Once I got the taste of that, and you could run your own program, even at that level. And if you look in the CHSAA, a lot of guys were varsity B coaches before they became varsity A, kind of a stepping stone.
For sure.
I think you always wanted to, be a head coach, whatever level it's at, and run your own program. And I always say, our program we try to run on a almost college style. Is what we do, from not just our scheduling, but the resources we have, from in the weight room to shooting gun, to the Vertimax, to our athletic trainer partnership with a physical therapy place. Things that we do is what's done kind of on a college level, that I think gives our guys the opportunity. The apparel sneaker deal. That's something that we were able to fortunate enough to get. So
that's Under Armour.
Under Armour, yeah.
Awesome.
Hey, shout them out.
Yeah,
yes.
so
they're not a sponsor of ours yet, but maybe one day.
That's it. So and you know what? It's I think all the basketball apparel and shoe companies, all gave us an opportunity, and Under Armour, we have a great relationship with them, both as a school, both at athletic program, and now specifically to be the only team in the Catholic High School League with the deal that they provided us. So it's
That's
pretty
impressive.
neat. But to answer your question, I when the opportunity came about to become the head coach, it was actually 6 years ago. I didn't get it the first time. So to be able to get it, 2 years after that, now 4 years ago, I just said to myself, I'm going to hit the ground running and try to connect with the right people in the state of New York. And once New York happened, then try to connect nationally. And I think that's why our guys been able to get recruited by what they can do individually as talented players, but try to give them as much exposure as possible. Since September 10th, we've had over 50 Division I, II, and III colleges come in to recruit our guys. So they're getting an opportunity to go play at the next level, and hopefully for free. That's the goal.
Wow.
Alan Griffin?
Alan Griffin, yeah.
He's out in Illinois now.
Illinois, yeah. Plays Georgetown tonight.
Wow.
Yeah.
So Orlando Antigua, from the St. Raymond.
St. Raymond guy.
We have to see. This is going to turn into the St. Raymond podcast, and I don't want that to be.
Okay.
But it's just there's so many.
He's going to take it out on us on our team.
Yeah.
Sorry, Ravens. Sorry, Ravens.
The basketball community, I'd say globally, is relatively small.
Yeah.
But then when you bring it down to the national level, and that's kind of one of the tenets of why Dribble and Dimes became what it is, or is becoming what we want it to be.
Okay.
A New York-centric podcast, simply because from New York, I've seen so many of these people just scatter around the country and around the world. So when I see that association, stand out from Stepinac, going to Illinois, assistant coach Orlando Antigua, that's just, it's really nice to see.
Yeah, New York.
But I know he was doing an amazing job for you guys. Alan was last year, and subsequently years prior to that. What do you expect from him now, I mean, even as early as tonight, in this next level with the Illini?
Yeah, I think going from our level to that level, the Big Ten is always an adjustment for any freshman. The speed of the game, the physicality, no matter how prepared you are, no matter if you're 18 or 19 years old, you're playing against 22, 23-year-old men, is what it comes down to. So he's holding his own. He's doing well. He worked really hard when he was here. Alan grew up a lot from his junior year to his senior year, became a vocal leader for us, left here, beyond successful, both in the school and on the court. And then, has done very well for them. They only played one game. He sat out with a little injury, but he's back. He's cleared. He shoots the ball at a high level. I know the staff out there has been impressed with that. Just got it, and in their exhibition game, he had 4 or 5 steals as well. So
wow.
I think he's going to be successful. All our guys that have gone on, from last year's team, I think playing in college, one's Division I now. Excuse me, 2 are Division I now. One's a D3, and then one other senior who graduated is going to end up Division I. He's doing a postgraduate year. So all those guys, I think, are going to be successful. Whenever that time comes, specifically with Allen, he shoots it so well that teams need shooters, teams need guys who could be efficient from 3.
That's right.
And then the rest of his game will come into fruition, which I believe.
I have a couple of questions for you, R.J. So, firstly, you spoke about leadership, which that impressed me more than your stats, more than anything, because what I see, what my brother was hinting towards is, I think we come from an NBA standpoint where sometimes the leading scorer is not necessarily the leader of the team, if you will. And so I'm impressed the fact that you say the little things, the intangibles. I believe greatly in the intangibles, the things that's not seen, the hustle plays, etc. So you assume the role as leader. How do you find the chemistry of your team, like you being the leader? Because you kind of spoke of being a leader. Do you find that your team has a good camaraderie based on what your example is, or how you are with them? How are you guys off the court? Do you guys hang out? Are you friends? Things of that nature. Can you just walk me through that kind of?
Everyone gets along with each other. We have a great personality. It's just about like on the court, building the chemistry with the young guys. We have a young group this year.
Okay.
So just the veterans, step up and just lead them into a championship team. Off the court, we're funny. Everyone's loose.
What do y'all do? Like, what's a typical
day?
Team hangout day?
Well, usually before practice, we'll hang around in the locker room, play some music,
cool.
Or just discuss basketball or life. And
what are y'all listening to typically in the locker room?
I would say, one of our our players is a rapper.
Aspire.
Who is he? Talk about him.
Sunil Fong.
Okay.
What is it?
Sunil Fong.
Sunil Fong.
He sometimes he plays his music, but other times, before games or practices, we'll listen to Drake or Migos, just the well-known rappers.
For sure.
And everyone is just loose and they have fun with each other. We have a great team, great kids, and they're just great people as well.
Awesome. That's so impressive for me. Like I said, at such a young age, and I'm going to say this, I'm going to say it boldly, leadership, I feel like it's not something, you either have it or you don't. That's what I'm trying to say. And again, I speak from the NBA standpoint, just from an observer, not from interior, from more of exterior. You can probably speak more because it's your part-time job at the New Jersey, Brooklyn Nets, excuse me. I just feel like that's like the greatest quality you could have, a leadership quality. And the next question that I have for you, what are your aspirations, if any, as far as basketball? Like, what is there? Do you have high, or do you have it as far as education? Like, what do you want to do in your future? I know that's kind of, I hate to even ask you that because you're such a young man. Can I
answer for you?
He's such a young man. It's so it really sucks for me to even ask you because you're still developing.
But
I'm going to ask you because this is where we at. I only have this time with you, so
RJ, keep it real.
I want to know where you.
I don't want no vanilla answers. give me what it is that you really think you're gonna accomplish.
Well, first, I want to go to a high major school. I think I'm capable of doing that.
For sure.
If I continue to work hard and, just chase my dream, pretty sure that dream will come true.
Cool.
As in college, I would like to, hopefully the goal is to get to the NBA. I would like to major in businessing or sports management.
Okay.
And, the ball will stop bouncing, so I have to also look into the academic support for the school. Academics goes a long way.
Sure.
So just going to a high major school with a great coaching staff, academics is, highly supported, and a great chemistry with the teammates and the culture of the school.
How big? So let's. I don't want to lose this nugget because I think it's substantial. So as you're talking about what schools what type of environment you want to be in, you've got 16. Is it at present 16 D1 offers?
14
D1 schools are giving you an opportunity to join them.
Mm-hmm.
Can you name them or some of them?
Some of them.
That's a lot.
Penn
That's
State,
a lot.
Penn State, Maryland, St. John's, Seton Hall.
You don't look bad in that red and white, by the way.
I know, right?
Illinois, St. Louis, Manhattan, George Washington, UMass, Yale.
This one right here?
Yes.
I was pointing at my shirt. It's a UMass shirt.
Manhattan, Fordham. I can't remember the
Marist, LaSalle,
Marist,
Old Dominion.
Marist.
Yeah.
You had something to do with the Marist?
Maybe.
That's ill.
That's
like,
amazing.
I don't know how often. I'm assuming standouts get a ton of letters, right?
Mm-hmm.
For you going into your junior season, having that in your back pocket, does that make you? I'm not going to use the word cocky because you don't come off to me as a cocky person, but does that give you a sense of comfort or does that make you hungrier?
I would say it makes me more hungry. I know what I'm capable of. Obviously, receiving these letters and offers is a great blessing. I'm grateful for all of them. Mm-hmm. But it just gives me the desire to continue to work. If I continue to work, the schools that I want will come along. And, just thanking the man above and my family for blessing me with this opportunity to go out there and play the sport I love.
Oh, man.
I don't usually look out. So I went to the University of Massachusetts at Amherst, not to be confused with any other UMass faction. I never go see any games. I don't follow them. If somehow you ended up at UMass, I'm in there.
Yeah.
I'm driving there.
Yeah, we gonna watch you.
Because just the little highlight stuff I was fortunate enough to catch on YouTube. Again, I haven't seen you play on the court, but just this conversation has already solidified what I've seen in YouTube. And you've got this poise about you when you're playing. And you could tell your court vision is insane and your IQ is pretty substantial as well. So, that's the kind of stuff I enjoy watching. There's a lot of really great athletes that they can jump, out of the gym and dunk all day long, and that's cool.
Yeah.
But there's a cerebral part of the game that I feel you have that there was, and you may be too young for this, but the Spurs were playing in the finals once against the Heat. I can't remember what year, but it was
LeBron.
Yeah, when LeBron was there.
That wasn't that many.
It wasn't too long ago.
2011.
Was it?
I want to say it was 11.
Okay, maybe it was 11. So you weren't too young.
Yeah.
Anyhow,
7 years.
I can't remember if it was game 6 or 7. The execution of the game for the Spurs was people always say what's the term that they use? Poetry in motion, right? That's the first time that I actually understood what that phrase meant. Mm-hmm. It was so beautiful to me. We enjoy the game of basketball, so for me to say the game is beautiful doesn't surprise you. But my wife will look at me like I'm crazy. She's like, "What are you talking about? It's beautiful." Mm-hmm. But it was so beautiful to me to see them. Again, it was a very mental way that they played the game and very unselfishly, but high talent across the board. And so at the conclusion of that game, I had a tear. And I'm like, yo, what just happened? I didn't even realize all the emotional stuff that was going on. But I feel like I say all that to say, I think you have that capability, assuming that you have around you a set of players that are also able to, vibe with that. So I really hope that that's the case because I it's fun to watch successful kids do their thing. And I'm, just all the things that I've read in your 2018 run, I got to believe you guys can, do an amazing job this year as well.
Definitely. I think with the group that we have this year, we're young, but we're also a gritty group. We have aggressive players, people that know their roles, and with that, when that comes along with a maturity of the veterans and the energy that we bring in practice, that will fulfill the championship run and the championship team that we will become.
Dope.
I have a question for you, Coach. How much credit do you take for the system in place to where, your standout player can play such an unselfish way of basketball? Because it's one thing to have a system. I think the other thing is to have the talent. So I kind of want to know where that fuses and how.
Yeah, I think it's a mix. I think it was. I think I always go back to the staff I have. All of us, the ideas, many sit-downs, many conversations, many text conversations to what our philosophy wanted to be. And then to your other point, it doesn't happen without talent. You know what I mean? So, do I think we were the most talented team in the country last year? No. Did we have the confidence to go out and play as the most talented team? Yes. We didn't feel like we could back down from anybody. And that's why I think we beat so many teams across the country, and then locally because it wasn't anything about cockiness. It wasn't anything about arrogance. It was just the way we prepared as a group that led us to that. And that's why I think we've had success specifically the last 2 years because the guys just bought into the philosophy and mindset of playing unselfish, playing fast, playing together, help each other out on both ends of the floor. And R.J. mentioned it earlier, understand your role. And I think the hardest thing for any 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old is to hear from somebody what your role is going to be. And when they buy into their role, which last year's group, did, and I think this year early on our group is doing that, when you buy into your role, success comes. I think that's anything, the business world, from the CEO down to, whoever it might be, if you buy into it and understand what you're doing, that business model is going to be successful. And that's how it is with our team. They buy into what we're doing and they buy into the concept. And we try to hide our deficiencies on the court, and we try to put guys in situations that excel. So, guys who can handle ball screens, we're going to put them in ball screens. Guys who can shoot, we try to get them open looks. Our big guys who are good with their back to the basket, we try to put them in some spots to be successful. And the one thing I always have to remind myself and the staff is they are kids deep down inside. They are 15, 16, 17 years old, so they're going to make mistakes. But I'd rather you make a mistake, going the right way and doing it the right way.
Wow.
So you talked a little bit about your background a little while ago. I want to dive a little deeper into that. So who is, and tell me if I'm saying your last name wrong because I've been practicing. Who is Patrick Massaroni?
You got the name right, so that's
Okay.
good. So that's good. You got it right.
The S is, I was like, do I Z it or do I S it?
Yeah, S it. Okay. S it. 50-50. Half Irish, half Italian right there. So, all right. You got it, mom and dad's side right there. So everybody be happy. Everybody be happy. So,
there you go.
I just think I give Stepinac a lot of credit, from a young age here. They instilled a lot of values in me. I was involved in multiple different things, played football, basketball, and baseball. Towards my senior year, the tide of athletics here changed for the better. There's a lot more talent that came in here, which we've seen, as you guys saw. We've seen since kind of 06, 07.
Was that just organic?
Yeah, I think it was, the school made a commitment to enhance to the higher divisions, so to the AA in basketball, to the AA in baseball, got up to the AAA in football in 2011. So, football is AAA, AA. It's anybody keep it unison, we'd be able to figure it out. But
one day.
I just think a lot of values were instilled in here. Before that, my family, and then guys that in this sports world that have been so open to teaching, so open to mentoring. Guys that I learned in the college game. People locally in Westchester and the Bronx, and then, like I said, even guys in our league. When I got the job, nobody had to give me any support, to be honest with you.
True.
Stepinac High School, they didn't have to give any support. But, you talk about, St. Raymond's, George down there was a big, supporter of me when I got the job. I mentioned Timmy, and Joe out of Christ the King, of guys that have mentored me, and still have, even though we won. It's not like the conversations have stopped, So,
that's awesome.
and then guys at the college ranks that have just been able to give some feedback back to me, and I think that's the biggest thing. So it's just trying to be successful in whatever the limelight might be or whatever task at hand. We scrimmage this week and try to be the best team we could be, because you never know who's watching. You never know who's going to take something away from that game, or that opportunity. I tell our kids that all the time. We went down to Maryland a couple years ago, and a college coach was there who watched one of our guys. Next thing you know, got a scholarship offer, and if he didn't play as well or as hard as he did that night, I'm not sure that would have happened.
Right.
So there's so many things that you never know in this world, and the level the program's at, the exposure. It's not like all our games at home are near sellouts or sellouts. We play the county center last year in front of 3,400 people versus Iona Prep. So and California, we had great crowds. We were out there last year. We're going to Myrtle Beach this year. They play in a mini arena. So there's so many people that could see Stepinac and everybody as an individual, and then remember us as a team.
That's amazing. You guys are like rock stars. Like, we're in some really good company, man. I'm really excited to go see you guys. Like I said, when we were young, Stepinac, I'd go to, just so happened I'd be at a game where Stepinac played. I just followed because I followed St. Raymond's, and I'm like, I didn't think anything of it. And to be honest, at that time, we kind of took advantage of you guys. But I think, like everything else in life, I think it all turns
full circle.
So I guess it's that time to get a little.
I'm waiting for that full circle to hit the Knicks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I'm kind of
gotta have hope. Gotta have hope.
Yeah. Are you guys?
I root for the Knicks. Yeah. I mean, they're a New York team. I more study systems and styles and coaches and the way they do certain things and just try to borrow and steal. In the NBA, I'm a huge Brad Stevens guy, even though they're Celtics. But I just think he runs great stuff. I think he puts his guys in to have like 4 or 5 superstars and to have success. I think that it's tough in the world today. It's tough in the world of social media. It's tough in the world of the NBA level. It's a business. There's a lot of money involved. There's a lot of guaranteed versus not guaranteed, all that stuff. So I just respect the way he gets those guys to play as hard as he does. And then, I know some people love him, some people hate him. Popovich look at that run he's had, throughout the years. So we got to respect, we get into the whole like or dislike LeBron. I'm a LeBron supporter or fan because of just what he's done. And, you look at so many different variables, how much he's done for more than just the game. That institution he built. He's, his wife now he's been with since high school. Just so many things that he's built out in his foundation and his kids. And so you go through a lot of people. But coaching wise, do I like the Knicks? Without a doubt. I worked for the Nets for 2 years, even on a part-time basis. I still talk to those guys. But it just more studying the game. You look at Spoelstra down at Miami. He started as like a video intern, running VCR clips to people. So you just look at success of little things like that. I study and try to take certain things away from it. So I think that's a big thing on it.
I wanted to ask RJ that same question. Basketball wise, who do you pattern your game off of, or you were inspired to play like, or anything to that nature?
I watch a lot of Kyrie Irving. He's my favorite player.
Interesting.
Kyrie Irving, Steph Curry.
That's big.
Try to imitate my game after them. Okay. Obviously, they're both point guards. And they're dominant scorers. Just the way they come off the screens or have the ability to create a space. I try to input that into my game. Just study the different moves and also the way they be a vocal leader. So. Also, Rajon Rondo, he's a great vocal leader.
Man.
So the way
we gotta hug him after. This kid
so
knows the game, ladies and gentlemen.
To his players, puts them in the right position to win. It's a great.
Man.
What do you have a favorite team, or do you follow a particular player?
Or
both.
I would say like my favorite player would be like LeBron.
Okay.
But I would say it's between Celtics and Lakers.
And again, I won't be mad at you for that.
He's a diehard New York fan.
Younger cat. So I'm approaching 40. So
I'm not.
Whatever. Cats that are significantly younger than me, I can't get upset. Born and bred in the New York area, and you're not a Knicks fan, I can't really get mad because what we put out as a product
has been
trash.
Sorry,
so
Knicks.
If I'm growing up, like my brother, he's a Bulls fan.
Yeah, I'm a Bulls fan.
So in the '90s, he and I, it was rock'em sock'em in the house. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, I can't be mad at that. Are you a new part? I guess you made it seem like you had 2 teams, right? So is the Lakers piece now just new
because of LeBron?
Because of LeBron?
Definitely.
At least
so were you a Cleveland fan before?
Well, right now I'm just like a LeBron fan, so wherever LeBron goes, I go.
So I'm gonna say you don't really have a team. You have Kyrie and you have
Kyrie.
LeBron.
Got players.
Steph Curry.
You got players. Yeah.
All right,
I
that's
don't,
all right.
I don't really like the Warriors like that.
No,
I'm too much of a super team.
Cheating, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You hear that?
no, don't tell him that, man. We might want him on the show.
We can have him on the show. I'll tell him
I'm
to
just
shout the
kidding.
show.
Okay, that's true. It's true. I feel the same way. So I think we'll wrap up with this. First of all, I'm ecstatic. I know I speak a lot, but I'm gonna say this again. I never, to my recollection, never met a young man who speaks of leadership like you do. The intangibles is what the game, in my opinion, has been missing overall. Like, it's not everyone who's a great athlete and has all the intangibles. And I think you could attest to this. That's an elite thing. Like, you might be a great scorer, you might be a great three-point shooter, you might be a great passer, but to have all of that and be a great leader, you got to just reach for the stars, man. And then you're all about your books. Like, we got to interview his parents and your parents too, by the way.
Oh, thanks.
Because if you guys are well spoken, like, who's the president? You know,
I'm gonna make sure we archive this.
Seriously.
Hey, don't screw up in college.
He's not gonna screw up. Are you kidding?
Keep that GPA.
He
high.
don't even.
No, here's why.
My parents-
Selfishly, here's why. I got an 11-year-old daughter at home, right? And she's starting to really pick up basketball and enjoys the sport.
Okay.
My biggest fear is not being able to handle assuming that she does great, right? Being able to handle academics and be on, teams, traveling, whatever, school teams, doesn't matter. Being able to point to somebody like you and say, you see what this kid's doing? Smack, get your stuff together and go get your work done. She's a smart kid and she keeps her stuff together, but I mean, she's 11, right? The struggle of having to compete at a high level plus keep your books in order, she hasn't experienced yet. And so for me, not that I'm anybody yet, but for me, keep going. Because, as you mentioned, and I don't know if you even understand the importance of what you're saying, but the ball will stop bouncing at some point in time. It doesn't matter how glorious your career is. Somebody like LeBron James, for example, he's been putting his ducks in a row for quite a while. So when he's done, hopefully he doesn't make any foolish, financial mistakes where he jeopardizes his whole nest egg. But you're going to come to a point where, all right, now what? And the education that you've been able to keep in focus is going to pay off in dividends. And if you do, succeed in becoming a standout, NBA player, it only complements your ability to be even greater, right? Because you're savvy now, as far as every move you make, you're going to make it more strategically versus, oh, it's just a good look, or, oh, for the gram. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're going to be more thoughtful about every step you take, and hopefully you surround yourself with the right people so that everything you do is magnified in the positive. Yeah. And, I mean, you can see that all the time. A lot of the mistakes the kids, I'm going to say kids, but athletes make is they feel too indebted to the people that they grew up with, for instance, right? And nothing against that, right? You have your core group of friends and family that have always been with you, but you also have to be cognizant of the fact that you're in a different game now in life and you have to protect that. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that means, telling somebody no. And it's hard, but hopefully you get to that level where you have to make those decisions. But
I'm sure you will, man. I'm sure you will. We're rooting for you over here. On Dribble and Dimes, we are rooting for you guys.
But wait. I don't want to discount Coach.
No, there's no Brad Stevens umbrella. Like,
no.
He's a student of the game.
No. Even beyond that, like, what drew me to even contacting you wasn't so much the championship, which, I mean, yeah, it's a great, thing. I got a chance to kind of just dig through your history, whatever was available online. And story after story, it just seemed like a fairy tale to an extent, right? Because, again, I don't say young coach to mean inexperienced or a knock against you. I see it as a humongous benefit, right? Because what you're doing, the fact that you've had success, right, in a very short period of time, to me means you know how to get in the heads of your players in the positive way, build them up in the best of ways, and then have them put the best product out. Not only that you have that relationship with them, but you also have a game plan that is well put together. And granted, you have a team around you that is helping you put it together, so it's not just you, but you are the leader of the pack. And so to be able to do that and be focused on that at, under 40 years of age, to me is a big deal. Because, like I said, I'm approaching 40. And I'm probably more of a kid than people might think you are in a lot of circles.
Seriously, I'm like,
You know what I'm saying? You're probably more mature in certain situations than I would be.
yeah, I got to go back to high school. That's
Real talk.
gotta
Real
go back.
talk.
Gotta step
So,
back.
and I'm sure Coach Patrick, there's moments where you have that same thing happen. So you're guiding a bunch of young men to the promised land, right? And the fact that you get them over the hump in a lot of cases into the Division 1, 2, or 3 ranks and not have to pay for college, bruh. I still have UMass debt out the yin yang.
Yes.
Okay. So I commend you, and I think
Let me ask you just one last question.
Yeah.
One last question to Coach.
Yeah.
As far as this season, what is
Good.
your
Yes.
vision for your season? Coming off of a championship, I know you have a predominantly new roster. If you will. What is your goal? What is your ambition? What do you feel like you guys can get?
Yeah, we graduated 3 starters from the team, but I think that the group here, as R.J. mentioned, it's a mix of young guys, and veterans. So, in teams past, we have 6, 7 seniors. We have 4 seniors on our team. And the rest are all young guys. So, but of those young guys,
when you say young, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Yeah.
When you say young, you're talking about sophomore and lower.
juniors, sophomores, and freshmen.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
that's what I refer to as younger
Yeah.
guys. But our juniors and some of our sophomores experienced that last year, the run we had. So I kind of throw them in the fire as older guys right away. But we're excited for the year. You look at the 24 games we have. As some say, there's not one cupcake. There's not one you look into and say, all right, we can, that's one we could kind of take easy that night. Where some schools schedule that way. But we have our 17 league games that are a grind every night. We open the first 4, 2 at home, 2 on the road, versus teams that we could be 0-4 and people could be criticizing us, but we could be 4-0. So every night's a grind. And then from a non-league standpoint, my philosophy has always been to go be the best. You have to schedule the best. So, we're playing in the Beach Ball Classic, which is an unbelievable 16-team 4-game tournament in South Carolina.
Wow.
We're playing Roselle Catholic. They have a young man going to Kentucky, another man going to UNLV, and a point guard who's a Division I player. We're playing Bishop Walsh out of Maryland. Their main player is going to Virginia Tech. They have 2 other Division I guys. So our non-conference, and then either Lehigh or Curtis. Lehigh, who we beat last year in the Federation semifinals, returns an unbelievable team, and Curtis out of Staten Island of the PSAL they lost in the PSAL championship last year. So, or semifinals it was. So anybody we play is going to be a challenge every night. You got to be prepared, and I always feel like doing that allows our guys to be prepared for March. And that's when it matters. That's when people get remembered. 18-10, our second year here, people remember the run to the semifinals. They didn't remember the 10 losses. So, again, I'm not predicting wins and losses. I'll never do that. You need a couple breaks to go your way. You need the ball to bounce one way or another. But I'm very optimistic about our group. I think if they continue to work hard and continue to develop, we have a chance to be a special group. And every team is different. So last year's group will always be somewhere in everybody's heart that's a part of Stepinac. But last year is now last year, and we're going to move on to this season and cherish that when we get that group back together, hopefully 15, 20 years down the line. But
you guys are going to have to incorporate a few more push-ups into your regimen because that big-ass target on your back right now, they're coming for y'all.
Yeah, that's it.
So
we went from as I say, we were the hunter last year. We are now the hunted.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right. They're coming for you.
The last thing I want to ask, so where can folks that are listening to this follow you guys or learn more about the journey of Stepinac as the season progresses?
Yeah, so we have information out there all over the place. So on our website, www.stepinac.org, if you go to the athletics and basketball tab is our schedule. We have all kind of try to keep up with news articles, and we'll post this as well if the link is available to get that up.
Yep.
We have unbelievable following on all 3 of our social media accounts. So step_basketball on Instagram, Stepinac basketball on Facebook, and step_basketball on Twitter. We have thousands of followers on all those accounts that we try to get as much news and info out as possible. And then many of the national sites like maxpreps.com will have our schedule and times and location. But if you follow mainly our Instagram and Twitter, you'll get as much news up to date as possible on ticket information. If there's a game that needs pre-sale tickets or times of games, and whether it's our Instagram story or our actual post, we have the content out there. So there's many avenues to follow our program, and all different facets. If you don't have social media, you can visit our website. We'll have our schedules printed in a couple weeks on our schedule poster. We just had our photo shoot yesterday with our team. So if you can't find a way to get it, shame on you, but it's out there. It's out there. So
that's more than enough.
Yeah.
RJ, anything you want to leave us with before we close?
Just want to thank you guys for obviously coming and taking the time to do this interview with us. Appreciate it. I want to shout out my Coach Pat for having given me the platform to excel for freshman year all the way to junior year. My teammates for being wonderful teammates and being unselfish, and as we go for the slogan "We over me," and just providing each other with great support. And definitely a special shout out to my parents, my mom and my dad, just for supporting me through everything, and putting me in the right opportunity to succeed in school and athletics as well. And my little brother for just continue to strive, and you have a great future ahead of you.
Dope.
Man, I didn't want to add nothing to it.
That's it. I'm going to drop the mic.
Yeah,
that's too expensive.
That's it. Don't do that. No. Thank you guys.
Thank
we
you
appreciate
guys.
it. Thank you
very much.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Dribble and Dimes. If you like what you heard, please leave a review or comment wherever you're listening to us now. Check us out on social media as well. We're live on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. On all platforms, you can find us at DRIBBLENDIMES.